Welcome to Allies or Enemies. I'm Jess.
And I am Sean, and this is our list of the top 10 tastiest looking game pieces. Obviously, these are all made out of wood and plastic, so they would not be good to eat, and don't eat them. But we want to eat these, all of these game pieces, and you probably have this where you look at game pieces and you think, I wish that was food. I really want to put that in my mouth. These ones all were that for us.
So number 10 on our list, this one is a little bit different. This is Sushi Go Party. And we don't want to like shove the cards in our mouths and eat the cards, but it's the way the art is done, particularly for the desserts. They just look so tasty.
Yeah, everything else on the list, as you will see, are pieces that we think like literally look like food. But Sushi Go Party, obviously representative of a 2D representation of food, but specifically the dessert ones.
Yeah.
The two dessert ones just look so good. I really want those to be real things so that I can eat them. I want like a Star Trek replicator and be like, make Sushi Go Party cards.
Although maybe without the faces. I feel like it's a little bit like macabre to like eat something that has a face and is like so cutely staring at you.
Yeah, I would not want to eat. I think as a rule, I don't really want to eat anything with a face, especially with like a cute little smiling face.
Just in general, probably no cute faces on our food.
But number nine, I feel like is probably a little bit more specific to me, maybe. But it's the dice in Batoku, and very specifically the brown dice because they look root beer flavored. When I was a kid, after hockey practice, we would often get these candy sticks from the concession, and they probably everywhere had them. They were like 50 cents, and the best ones were the root beer flavored ones. And this looks like those root beer flavored candy sticks, and I think if these dice were edible, they would be delicious.
And root beer is really hard to find here in the UK, so I think that certainly plays into it, because I thought the same thing, and I thought, oh, I really want some root beer, and we can't really find it easily, so I think that plays into it.
Yeah, root beer flavor, one of my favorites, especially and this I feel like is a real life hack. If you've got licorice, black licorice, and you use that as a straw to drink root beer, that's the perfect combination. That's ideal.
Our next one is number 8 is Gizmos, and it is just really, I think it's meant to look edible because the whole contraption where the marble-like balls go into is like a gumball machine. It very much has that kind of look to it, and it does kind of look like gumballs, and they're not like official marbles. They're kind of have a little bit less sheen, which I think plays into making them look just a little bit more edible.
Yeah, they're like squishy marbles.
They're not squishy, they just look squishy.
No, they are squishy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're squishy marbles, and they're meant to be power. They're like energy balls, but they're obviously in that gumball machine. But the thing that makes them look extra delicious is that it looks like they are hard on the outside, but deliciously soft on the inside. And I love that. Like Gushers, if anyone used to eat Gushers, any candy that's surprisingly gooey on the inside, that is such a wonderful treat. Such a nice surprise. So I would really like to bite into these and then find out that they're soft and gooey and like Gusher-like on the inside.
They won't be.
No, they won't be. They'll be plastic. Number 7 is one very specific part to the game, and we thought at first, we're like, oh yeah, this looks really tasty. But then when we looked at it in comparison to the other ones, it kind of moved down the list a bit. But
it started really high.
It did. It's the berries in Everdell, and specifically the berries because they are soft and they are bouncy. And they look a bit like gummy bear berries. They look like gummy berries. So if you were to eat them, you would be able to bounce, which would be great as well. And also love the gummy bears.
And I think they did a really nice touch on the berries as well to make them look extra edible, is they have like the little pattern on the top that's very much like a blueberry pattern. So it's not just that it's round and squishy, but it also specifically has like that kind of little extra detail to it that I think helps. Number 6. Now this one is kind of actually a tie because we had one that came to mind for this, but they're both pretty similar in their game components. So it's little player discs that go on to planets is one of their uses. And so the one that ended up winning our number 6 position is Pulsar. And Pulsar ones, they look really tasty. They look a little bit like, I would say, what in Canada we call rockets. In the States, they're called Smarties.
Oh, I
Here,
was
they're called
thinking
Refreshers.
even smaller than. Do they call them? Wait a second. Do they call Rocket Smarties? Right, because they don't have Smarties like chocolate
Yeah.
Smarties. So they call Rocket Smarties?
Yeah.
So when we talk about that we like Smarties, they're like, oh, like the cheap Halloween candy?
Not the chocolate covered ones. That's what they think.
That blows my mind. But anyway, I was thinking that these look more like Runts, if you remember Runts. That are
Oh,
like
they do look like Runs.
even smaller
Yeah.
candy. But yeah, we were definitely thinking Eclipse, but those look like lozenges.
Oh, we didn't announce that. The other contender
Right.
was Eclipse, and they do look more like lozenges. Here, it's Strepsils, which are less tasty. So it does look like something you could put in your mouth, but just not as delicious.
Pulsars I would eat over over Eclipses if that was their candy name. Our number 5 is half because they look tasty and half because every time we play this game we eat the thing that we're making, and that is Chocolate Factory. And because in Chocolate Factory, you're running a chocolate factory and you're making chocolates, and I don't think we've ever finished a game and not immediately been like, now we need to get some chocolate.
Yeah, when you look at one piece individually, you don't really think, I want to bite into this, but it is close enough that you're certainly, like, the whole game, you're just reminded of chocolate and you're staring at it, and it looks more and more like chocolate, like the longer the game plays.
Yeah, it does for sure. It puts that chocolate thought into your head. It definitely makes, over time, the wooden pieces look more and more like chocolate as you run them through your factory.
Exactly. All right, our next one this is one that I opened up and I immediately thought it looked delicious, and it's the Great Wall, specifically the wound markers. So the wound markers are kind of 2 drops of blood, but the way that they've done them, at least in the version we have, I don't know if it's the same across all the versions, is this nice clear one. It looks like it's going to be almost kind of like a lollipop without the stick, in my opinion. It just reminds me of like a delicious, hard kind of cherry flavor.
Yeah, and we were talking about this because Jess thinks it looks like a hard candy, and I think it looks like Hot Lips. So it looks like a softer, squishy candy, but I think we both agree that it looks cinnamon, or do you think it looks like cherry?
I think it looks cherry.
Oh, see, I think it would for sure be cinnamon, but I do like the gross factor of its blood.
Yeah.
And I feel like as a kid, I would have went for that 100%. But I would also eat them if they were a hard cherry.
Oh, okay. So edible regardless.
Yeah. I think either way. Number three is kind of a gimme, honestly, but I think we still needed it to be on the list, and that is Mint Works. And I don't love mints, but boy, do these look like, these are, of all the things on this list, these are the ones that I most could accidentally just put in my mouth and eat as though it were the thing. And it's nice too that it's a mint container.
I think that's the huge part of it. Is if it was just in isolation, it would be like, oh yeah, it kind of looks like mint. But the fact that it comes specifically, because it's called Mintworks, in a mint container, and that the pieces that you are putting out are very mint-like, the whole thing could easily be mistaken. If a non-board gamer opened up your bag, they may think it's mints. All right, our next one I think is really appropriate for the time this video is coming out, and that is Wingspan, specifically the eggs. I mean, they look like the mini eggs. They totally do. If you had mini eggs and the Wingspan eggs, I don't know if you'd be able to tell them apart. They look like chocolate deliciousness.
Yeah, I like that you pointed out specifically the eggs. Like people might have thought that we wanted to just take bites out of birds.
Specifically not the bird cards, nor the cardboard food tokens, but the eggs.
No, the eggs look delicious. I've never been a huge fan, actually, of mini eggs. There's a few kinds of mini eggs. I like the cream ones, so they're the slightly bigger. But the really small ones, I always thought, I don't know. I was on the fence, but these definitely look like them, and they do look tasty. I love the small
mini eggs. So every time I play Wingspan, I want to have some of those mini eggs.
Like the Cadbury mini eggs.
Yeah.
Our number one, and this inspired the whole video. This was without a doubt. This is number one with a bullet, not even close, and it is Honey Buzz. The Honey Buzz, are they honey? Are they nectar? Anyway, I think they're honey, but the Honey Buzz squishy tokens, holy cow, they feel so I smelled them just to see. There's never been a board game component I've been closer to just tasting a little bit just to see.
It's just so inviting. It
Mm.
looks like it'd be chewy and gummy, and it's certainly like filled with a fruit flavor. I can really picture how each of the different ones would taste. Just they look so good.
Yeah, they do. And there's definitely something that I've eaten that is like a 1-to-1 comparison, and I can't remember what it is. It's a kind of wine gum.
I was thinking it's wine gum, but it's not, because it has that more of that kind of shape that the honey buzz components come in.
Because they look softer. Because the problem with wine gums, like the Maynard ones, is that they really get stuck in your teeth. At least they do for me.
Yeah.
And so like a softer, nicer one that just kind of slides right down. That's what these are, like top quality, like premium, like wine gummy food, and they look so good. I picture them being honeycomb flavor as well.
Oh, not fruit flavored.
No, so like for any Kiwis out there, like a hokey pokey flavor, which is my favorite flavor. I would be very in it. If please, Honey Buzz people, if you can make these a food, if you can make a food version of these,
oh, I would so buy those.
I think a lot of people would.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people.
I think
would
we're
buy
onto
this.
a great idea here. So those are our top 10 game components that look most delicious of the games that we own that we thought of.
Mm-hmm.
But we would love to know what other components you have that you also, whilst playing, thought, oh, I really want to eat this.
Yeah, we would. I feel like if a game had delicious enough looking components, we are the sorts of people who would buy that game just because of a delicious looking component. I feel like that is a real selling point.
It is a selling point.
Even though we can't eat them. And again, don't eat any parts of any of your games.
Like, subscribe, all of that really helps us out. And hopefully we'll see you for the next one.